inside!
Never had anything to do with it. You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident. Obviously, I am not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm currently on the lookout for an armchair to finish my study.
Objection!
No, you were there to redeem an article. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. He was there too, motherfucker. Literally. Like, I'm pretty sure a smoke bomb went off and this dude bounced. He was there.
Excuse me.
Also, is my controller charged enough? No, of course not. Do you have something to add, Inspector?
Come again, sunshine?
You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector? That afternoon.
Well, yes, I do remember meeting yourself in the pawnbrokers that afternoon. You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, as I recall.
And at that time, this witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article.
Well now. I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly. I was too busy eating me fish and chips.
What? But you must.
I'm not gonna lie and pretend I remember something I don't.
What's going on here? Craigsy showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Winterbanks. Yes, of course. Indeed,
and the gentleman pictured bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say.
Exactly, which proves that Mr. Graydon was in the shop on the afternoon in question. At no point have I denied that fact. I merely entered the shop to peruse the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more. This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? That's all he's going to say in the matter, is it? What do you think, Runo? I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away. The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think that the more he says, the better. Well, at least I managed to prize a little more information from these witnesses' lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers. Yes, they were the key to it after all. So he says he had nothing to do with Winterbanks. Well, we know that's not true. Perhaps now would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record. Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information could become a valuable weapon. Alright, the time has come. Scaramouche. Alright, boom. So it's gotta be this, right? Or not this, this. But there's also... Kitty. Like... Remember the victim... I know that he tried to... Like, he also had a ticket, right? I think it's probably the disc. I'm gonna go with the disc.
Objection!
Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why? Is it supposed to mean something? This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Winterbank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try and take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I have reiterated it numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there's a small smear of blood on this disc.
Oh, yes, resulting from an aberration of the thumb, perhaps.
That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious, indeed it must.
The fucking...
You're telling me that when people lose blood, they tend to be injured? Whoa!
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with this smear of blood on this disc. Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you.
What is the meaning of this? Perjury in my courtroom? I'll only allow this 3 more times before I start to get a little mad.
So you admit it now? You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant.
Order, order! Well, Mr. Graydon?
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn? What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish, though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder.
We'll see about that.
There's a note on the disc saying, "For McGilded," but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder.
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Good lord, Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself are acquainted?
Yes, that's correct.
Order! Oh, well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks. It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on McGilded's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
I suspect this piece of evidence is going to become relevant soon. This. Conviction was assured with 3 eyewitness testimonies. However, a surprise 4th witness's testimony resulted in an acquittal due to insufficient evidence. Okay, I don't think it's relevant yet, but it will be. We're getting closer to the heart of the McGilded case.
Hold it!
Let's dig some information. Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties, having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand. Which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. You claim that was your overcoat? Obviously, and in my haste, I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet, there is a note on it that reads, "For McGilded." I am a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area.
So, the disc in question?
It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she? No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury. Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it? Let's leave it alone for the time being. Perjury? Impossible! That kind of crime never goes unpunished in Ace Attorney-verse. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling!
Hold it!
So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right. Despite being mindful of danger when walking in the insalubrious areas of her kind frequent.
Objection!
What a fucking... Miss Lestrade did no such thing. Well, of course you would take that stance, but the girl is a regular offender. You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Windibanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense. I will say that is, despite the fact that we know that's the case, it is hearsay at this point. In all fairness. Nonsense?
I concur with the prosecution. Counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear?
Yes, my lord. Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to Windibanks before? Only once for the purposes of pawning something, but like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So when you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her, is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, but... of course, such is the art of a pick-purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place. Ugh, he can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police.
Hold it!
Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. And this was the very man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Inspector?
What do you mean?
The last remark of Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way.
No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilded's possessions?
I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine.
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets?
Yes, exactly. You should know all about that.
Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life, yet he had a dark side too.
Where are you going with this, Van Zeeks?
I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
That's enough! Couples like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. Did he just shove the fish and chips in his pocket? I feel like he's done that before, but... like, dude.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's portrait first.
What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here.
Well, it would appear that the Inspector hasn't revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord. So no reason to break in the shop later this
Hold it!
But perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items. No, not at all. Oh. A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac. Bric-a-brac. In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's disc. We just established that the police took it. Dude, come on. I'm on your side, but come on, man. Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I had simply no reason to break in. So there was nothing of McGilded's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true. Runo, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble. Yo, same, Iris. Okay. McGilded slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Windibank's. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilded as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. But Gregsy's being very strange about all this. There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. Alright, so... Did the pawn shop have anything else of McGilded's? That seems to be what they're implying. But that's gonna help. Whoops. Oh, here we go. Who took the coat? I can't remember. Did he ended up taking the coat, right? It's hard to know what's the front and what's the reverse side now. It's just the kitty picture. Adorable. So this is the ticket for the coat. This is the box. I can't remember where we got this. Is this the box? Was that also McGilded's? Did we get that from Gina? Was it? The box was McGilded. Why can't I remember anything about the box? It's been so long. I think everything about the box. I remember the box. I just don't remember like what the relevance of it is. I think it hasn't been mentioned since like my 3-week break. Okay. I think I'm gonna say the box is the important factor. Whoops. God damn it. Yeah, so you had reason because there's the other McGilded thing.
Objection!
This disc was deposited at Windibanks on Magnus McGilded's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again. And in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night.
Objection!
Sorry, my learned friend. My learned friend. Damn. But that's not true. What? Mr. McGilded had another article in pawn at Windibanks. As this second pawnbroker's ticket proves. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in Windibanks pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers.
This is the second ticket, is it?
What had the man deposited? The article description reads, 1 small box.
Rather vague description, it seems to me.
Agreed. Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point.
Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some reason, this Graydon fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks?
I love... It's so real. Could you just say what you mean, bro? I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument. But the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windbag's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. What?
Good gracious.
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please.
Oh, yes, sir.
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Ah, Hurley's red-handed recorders again. As previously explained, using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windbag received his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves on which the articles were placed for sale once forfeited.
According to the information on this ticket, the gilded small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident, at 9 PM on 13th of April to be precise. Which means it would have been on the shelves of forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 PM on 15th April. This victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear.
There is a small box, I see it.
And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident.
I mean, is that not the small box? I literally see it.
I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare.
Oh god, this fucking thing again. Oh my god. Can't do it. It hurts my eyes.
No, I must say, placing them side by side leaves me cold.
Get the fucking... was it juror number 4?
Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache.
Apparently I'm the judge, because... same, dude.
Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So your men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these 2 photographic prints. And the Yard's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both.
In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question. Well, hold on. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Ah! I don't believe it! If I could have just shown that he'd stolen Mr. McGilded's pawn box. Now, hold on. Because if I have a potential theory here. If they had taken the box but then replaced it with a similar box, then it would look like they hadn't taken it. That's my guess. Motherfucker. I might have been able to break him down at last. You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking. I wonder if these 2 photographs really are exactly the same. Yeah, let's do the fucking thing. I mean, I can't do it. I would do it, like, myself. But I can't do the crossy eye thing. It'd make it so much easier, but I'm, like, playing fucking spot the difference old school style. It moved! The box! In the lower right hand corner, the box next to the, it's like a little, it's like, it's actually surprisingly like, I mean not surprisingly, it's like the most ornate thing. It moves! In the first one, it's on to the left, in front of the painting or picture, the framed picture, and then the right photo, it's moved to the right. Take that! don't know what this means, but it's clear someone moved it. I've got him now! What?
So, counsel, in the light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints somewhere? Point out a discrepancy! Hold it! Getting into the Ace Attorney desk slamming. I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What?
You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy of which you speak.
Take that! Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them.
What?
When you view the two pictures stereoscopically... Yeah, I didn't do this, I just... Oh. A single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box.
Let me... Wait! Unbelievable! It cannot be!